Don't mind me. I'm just going to be busy reading The Hunger Games. Or a sequel. Or, actually, welcome to episode 59 of the FlameFlash.net podcast. I am a sleep-deprived Flameflash because it's my own darn fault. I read The Hunger Games in 48 hours. Not, the whole time of the 48 hours, but in what is my usual evening or leisure time. There it went. Anyway, welcome aboard. For those of you unfamiliar, podcast at flameflash.net. Send in your commentaries, responses, suggestions, or tweet at me at flameflash over on the network. But flameflash.net holds pretty much everything there is as far as ways to contact me. So we won't bore you with those details, and we'll get right to the Raptor report. Raptor.com/flameflash. Hey, look at that. Brings us everything that I've been playing in the last week, and we give a little commentary on it. Bastion for the PC. That's that excellent kind of role-playing game, more adventure game though. Narrated, wonderful art. It's something to keep going back to. Not constantly be playing it, probably. But we clocked some time in there this last week, and it was good. Magic: The Gathering, Duels of the Planeswalkers, 2013. Yes, Magic: The Gathering is kind of like Cars. So the number is always the year it's coming out before. Just for those of you going, wait a minute, it's 2012. That's how Magic: The Gathering just numbers their core expansions. So far, I'm leaning toward the red deck, which is one of the base decks you get from the start. I like it quite a bit. The burn spells give you enough control early game. The creatures give you enough Hulk smash later. It works. Only played far enough to unlock the next tier of the campaign, so I have quite a bit left in this game. Dungeon Defenders cropped up again. I have no idea what happened in Dungeon Defenders this time around because the oldest son played it. So I'll just step back, relax, and move to the next one. World of Warcraft. It is the Fire Festival this week. Lasts until, I believe, July 4th. Probably ends the morning of July 5th. And it's the Fire Festival. It's one of the best holidays, if you're an altaholic, to go out there and do the dailies, do all the quests, stop by the bonfires. You're going to be rolling in extra experience points. It's fantastic. We also touched into Magic: The Gathering Duels of the Planeswalkers 2012. I'm still going to use that game to track both my card use and my non-card use, if I happen to sit down to play the Magic 2012 video game. But deck rearrangement. Slipped in the reward packet for getting Duels of the Planeswalkers 2013 on the Xbox and on the iPad. My assumption is, if I have a hankering for Magic, some of my friends have iOS version, some of them have Xbox version. Sometimes the kids are using the TV, sometimes the battery is dead in the iPad. So, this way, I can have Magic: The Gathering no matter where, and no matter what else is going on, hopefully. The Sims 3. Now that Red Flare has decided it's okay to use my laptop, that it's not going to magically fall apart into a poof of dust just because she's touched it. Oh no, we're touching it. We're touching it. But now that she realizes that, The Sims 3 has become a favorite for those hot days when feeding a baby in the crook of her arm and letting the air conditioning cool things down so she can get back up and do everything around here. Not to say that I don't help, but I'm not here 24/7. Male defensive force kicked in there, I guess. We'll move on. Sims 3, still excellent. Still have absolutely no interest in Nocturnal. The Katy Perry stuff pack set is intriguing, but it's not available for Steam yet. So there went my interest. The Diesel pack just this evening released a trailer. Again, I'm not sure it's going to be on Steam, therefore my interest can't get overly excited. Just isn't going to. I am highly considering some of the newer items and some of the older ones out on the Sims3.com store. There's, for instance, that little teleporter pad. Cleans you up, feeds you, and sends you right off to work. Boy, would I love to have one of those things in real life. No more driving. That would be nice. We'll move on to Terraria, however, which also has a magic mirror teleporting device. Somebody finally sat down, my cousin, with me, and showed me how this game worked. It's one thing to be remoting into somebody's multiplayer map, and it's completely another to be sitting down and trying to figure this out for yourself. There is an application called More Terra. More Terra. So it chops off the urea. And it lets you actually have a map of your world. Okay, so maybe it's slightly cheatish or smells that way, but when I had a general direction to go instead of just hoping my random digging would lead me to a vein of gold ore underground, by having that map, I know where right to aim. I love it. I really appreciate it. It's what I needed. I think my little character is doing quite well for himself by now. The gold tools and the silver armor. This is a great game over on Steam. It's something worthy of your time. 16-bit Final Fantasy style graphics. It's excellent. Go forth and know it better, man. So, now that the Raptor report's out of the way, what else happened in geekery and uniqueness this last week? Well, we'll start out with throwing out the commentary, just as the Supreme Court did. They struck down policy against curse words on broadcast TV. It was an overly simplistic blurb. I probably should have gone out there and found more details. It was certainly something I was frustrated with. So I'm not sure which exact case it was, but enough to make a headline somewhere. Speaking of free speech, Apple legally refused to sell an iPad to somebody who was speaking Persian. Their excuse was that our relationship with Iran was such that Apple didn't want to get fined for potentially exporting an iPad to a stressed relationship government. I'm not sure if Apple should be to blame, because the lady that they said no to was clearly in there buying for herself, or the federal government for having so many stupid regulations and vague. Because it really could have gone either way for that store clerk. He could have been fired the next day and Apple fined, or they make a big hullabaloo about it because this poor gal can't buy her iPad when she exactly wanted to. With the dawn of the internet and online ordering, if she really wanted to smuggle that iPad to Iran, I'm sure there are much simpler ways to do it than walking into a store and just buying it. Just saying. So, I believe I've touched on this in the past. The oatmeal lawsuit. They went and they were being sued because a website they were complaining about was hosting their webcomics online on their site and claiming them as theirs. So the site that was claiming the pictures as theirs turns around and sues the oatmeal, which are the rightful owners of the pictures, because the oatmeal decided to send its fans and followers out and attack this other website. Not literally anonymous hacker attack, but just yelling at them to bring the stuff down that they don't own. I believe that piece has finally worked itself out, but the lawyer who was involved with the original case for the website that was doing the suing decided to sue a bunch of folks just for the heck of it, it seems, or because he was offended, I'm not sure what. Has absolutely no understanding of the internet. And it'll be interesting to see if an internet savvy judge decides to just laugh him out of the courtroom. That's what I would like to see. Oh, so Blizzard, the real money auction house, launched. Blizzard has begun to limit digitally purchased Diablo 3 accounts. Now, what this means is if you buy your Diablo 3 account online, there is probably going to be a lag between when you have first been able to log in and be able to go over to the real money auction house. If this wasn't orchestrated, it's certainly pure win, in my opinion. They protect the consumer. The goal behind it is, if your credit card was stolen, they don't want you, or a representative of you at this point, going to the real money auction house after buying an account and buying a bunch of crap that the criminals have also posted to Blizzard's real money auction house. So you're blocked completely from going in that direction, which will hopefully reduce hacking. Doubt it, but it's a hope. Neat little product, I guess you'll say. An energy tank from the original Megaman series, chockety block full of CDs. But it's going to have all of the soundtracks of the original Megaman games. So now you can call your parents up on the phone or embed these particular songs in something in the front yard and watch as those older than my generation start going nuts from the MIDI music, the bleeps and bloops. Namco. We'll stay in the video games section for a little bit. Namco is developing Super Smash Bros. Recently announced. Cool. Some people have been mocking the idea or bringing up the fact that, hey, weren't these the guy that did Soul Calibur? And the exceptionally scantily clad everybody? And they're barely wearing anything, some of these characters. But so they mockingly put, say, a Zero Suit Samus out on Twitter, modified in the style of Soul Calibur. Nintendo's still at the reins. They're just needing more man-hours to get this out there sooner rather than later. Seems a win-win. Smash Brothers Brawl Wii U will sell well. Or at least I would think so. Staying in the realm of Nintendo, new Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS is going to have downloadable content. New levels for a coin rush mode, to clarify from last week. So this is okay. So probably won't be investing in the downloadable content at all, including, the overly priced my mind suddenly went toward the Vita for some reason. The 3DS has exceptionally priced, reasonably priced SD cards still. So, but there's not really a good way to pass around DLC on handheld devices when we have, say, 3 of them at home. So, downloading that, getting it digitally, getting the downloadable content, seems like a waste. Unless it was to save directly on the cartridge of the game, then that would be pretty cool. So I mentioned the World of Warcraft flippable table. Out on Monk of Mists, you can now see it in action as somebody flips the table. It's going to be a cooking reward. Do the cooking dailies, buy something nice for yourself, or buy the flippable table. I know that's one of the first things I'll probably be going after. That's for sure. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Whoa. Jumping all over the place. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Sorry. A new 2012 trailer for a cartoon. So, Michael Bay's Ninja Alien Mutant Turtle things movie is out of commission at the moment. But Nickelodeon seems to be trying the whole 3D animation. Not the cell shading of of He-Man, of the original Ninja Turtles cartoons, but it looks very computer generated, heavily. It's going to be in the show notes, a link out to the trailer. Go forth, comment on it. Comment it on the podcast or on the podcast notes. What do you think of it? It looks okay, but for some reason I'm not super excited about it either. Blizzard has, in their wisdom, backed off on the non-account bound mount list. Huzzah! Traveler's Tundra Mammoth for my Pandaren Monk. Here I come. Now, something I would understand if they did at this point is put level restrictions. Because a level 13 Pandaren Monk on a mammoth is going to be a little game breaking. But not enough, in my opinion, to say suddenly, oh, Blizzard, you're making a terrible mistake. No, this is good. This is how it should have been initially. The only mounts now out of the loop are going to be the class-specific mounts, no druid on a fell steed, and the PvP mounts. Still curious why on the PvP mounts, the ones that say they're top server, but the PvP mount is rewarded to that character for that character's performance. Yes, there's a player behind that character, but when you hand, say, the keyboard to my wife and tell her to play her warrior, she's not going to have as much fun as if you tell her to go have fun on her druid. It's just not going to happen. Her warrior is rather dissatisfying to her. The controls just don't feel right. So, for them to keep the PvP mounts as non-account bound, you can show, I really rocked it out on this Death Knight in 2010. Cool. Congratulations. So, why don't you flip your tunes and get ready for the raid that's in 15 minutes. Alright. Pops out over to his monk and they get going. Wandering around on the monk. If he had the PvP mount, that monk might get harassed for duels. And then, when the time comes and he's not a good PvPer as a monk, this person is going to ridicule them all sorts of ways because, hey, you're riding a PvP mount. Why aren't you good? It makes sense. Rumor has it, we have a Mists of Pandaria box reveal, and that the next beta patch is going to bring add-ons. This means we are so close to the expansion that it might be time to be able to taste it. We're that close. By the way, if anybody is following in the Ustream Live chat room, I couldn't launch it. It kept failing in Chrome. So, thank you for being here with me if you are. And next time, hopefully, the chat won't keep crashing on me. Apple admits viruses for apples exist. PC World found this one, ironically enough, and Apple just ever so subtly changed the description of a few things to be virus-free to we're a really secure operating system. Well, they're a really secure operating system because until now, not very many people have felt it easy to program for the platform, to try out things on the platform. The Mac App Store has certainly fixed that. But there are people out there that want to hurt Mac users, and you have to just be safe where you surf, just like on a Windows PC. Don't open attachments that you don't recognize. All that same stuff. We'll go on a Facebook kick real fast. Comments can now be edited. It's about time. When I screw up on my grammar, the last thing I want to do is hit the X button and delete the comment just because I had a horrible typo. It breaks the rhythm of the conversation. But to go back and edit it so you're not spamming the thread, that's pretty awesome. Or if they look like they're a little miffed at you for not editing and just deleting, now you can just edit. Fix it. It will hopefully not throw off the rhythm of conversation as much. Always a good thing. Facebook also steps in and gives us all email addresses. So now you are 1234 at facebook.com instead of whatever your email address happens to be, like podcast at flameflash.net. Subtle hint there. You can go to your profile, edit your contact information, and hide that email address, but you can't delete it. They refuse to let you delete it. It just simply states, error. Cannot do that right now. That one makes no sense. If I refuse to use it, if I don't want to use it, let me delete it off my profile. Star Wars: The Old Republic is getting its new update, a group finder. About time. If they're going to be copying World of Warcraft, what they need is that robust group finding. No idea how in-depth it is. I don't play that game. But it's just neat to see somebody else stepping up, figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and trying it out. Let's see if this saves them. Brings more people back, more people to stay. Wait and see. MarioMarathon.com. June 22nd, this started up. Their countdown clock is unfortunately still going, so we're not quite sure how much time was really put into the marathon. But regardless, they raised over $112,000 for the Child's Play donation. Awesome. I salute you all, sirs. My PlayStation 3 currently is going through an update. But if yours isn't, and you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, there's some free Little Big Planet 2 stuff coming to the store. This week only. Summer-themed items, stickers, etc. But I don't want anybody running off with... not sure where I was going there. It's clearly getting late for me. Anyway. Free Little Big Planet 2 stuff. You should already have Little Big Planet 2 if you are a PlayStation Plus subscriber. Go grab it. And don't be surprised if you have a firmware waiting for you on your PlayStation 3. But that's it for me. I'm Flame Flash of flameflash.net. Come visit me on Raptor. Come visit with me on Twitter. Or send an email. It all works. Thank you for stopping by. And this has been episode 59. 59 of the flameflash.net podcast. Signing off.